the picture. Okay, so we have a choice now. I have one more song for you, I think. Would you like something really, really, really vast, cosmic, universal, and potentially morose? Or would you like something cheerful?
Morose.
Yeah! Okay, well, we'll do this one and then we'll see if they let me do an encore. We can always end on a cheerful note because... Do you know the best thing that I learned yesterday?
What?
Susan Cain
Yeah.
is a goth.
Yeah, she is.
Susan Cain is a goth.
Yeah.
She's a fucking introverted goth, and I love her so much. Who else cried during that talk? Because I did. Okay, you're my people. So can I ask, if I'm gonna do this, it's gonna have to be quiet, which means I'm gonna have to like turn you guys against each other. Well, I'm also, so sometimes the Spiegelton is seated, but it's standing. It's usually standing when the music is like loud and dancey, and seated when the music is soft and moody. But now you're standing and this is soft and moody. But actually that worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Magic. Also, I can do this. I'm going to introduce this song to you, and I'm going to try and do something really difficult. Can you guys come forward?
Sure.
And if you guys in the front aren't actually super uncomfortable about it, you can sit down, and that way you don't have to, but you can. And that way the people in the back can actually see, which is part of why they're not paying attention, because people will not pay attention to things that they cannot see, and potatoes are very powerful. Just do it, make a friend, sit down, you'll be happier anyway. Hey, I fucking love you. Excellent. And if you're in the back, then you can stand up. Okay, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And then you can stay standing. All right, so for this, get yourself settled, have a cuddle a stranger. If you're here with your TED crush, you can now cuddle your TED crush. Beautiful. Okay, and now, such a well-behaved audience. Okay, I'm going to try to do very, very, very quickly what usually takes me 15 minutes to do in my show. And the first thing is I have a piece of housekeeping for you, because once I finish the song, I'm not going to say fuck all, because we're all just going to be in a morose pile, and I'm going to go off stage like this, and you're all going to go, and saying something as tacky as, tomorrow night, if you're not doing anything, I am going to be doing actual public weird Amanda fucking Palmer style flash gig in this exact same venue. The actual people of Edinburgh are going to be here. My actual fans are going to be in that actual garden, and we're going to do a weird thing where group by group I take them into the Piccolo Theatre and delight them, and I have some special weird guests, and if you're not doing anything else tomorrow night, you can always come here. And that's going to start at about 9:30. And we're just going to take over that side of the garden. That's thing number one. And thing number two, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Thing number two is I'm going to try to condense my 15-minute introduction to the song into 2 minutes. And I'm a professional speaker, so I can do this.
We love you.
I love you too. So if you imagine that you've just sat through 4 hours of my show, and you've been through all of my abortions with me, and you've been through a 24-hour natural childbirth with no drugs with me, and you've been through a marriage, and also I was going to say miscarriage, but kind of the same thing. No, you've been through a marriage with me, and you've been through a miscarriage with me that I had on Christmas night, alone, at the top of a mountain. And I know, and I've played Disney songs for you. We've been through fucking everything together. Just do it. Use your imagination. Okay, now we're here. And I talk about my patrons, my 15,000 patrons, who actually not only funded my art and my creativity, but actually helped me write all of my songs and got me to the space that I'm standing in here now with you and made my life possible. And I went to them and I said, I want to write a song tomorrow. I'm going to write it in one day and I'm going to release it the next day. And you have to tell me right now what's happening with you and what are you afraid of? And try and keep it under 400 words because I don't have a lot of time, you motherfuckers. And I got 1,500 comments. People told me what they were afraid of. And I read them all. It took me about 5 hours to read all of the comments. And this is actually an open post, so you can go read this post. And reading this post is kind of like reading a document that is a sort of a cross-section of humanity right now. And one of the most remarkable things about all of the comments under this post, what are you afraid of right now, is that people started falling into sort of like equal and opposite piles all over the place. So for as many people as were taking care of their ailing parents and just didn't know how to deal, there were all of these people who were estranged from their parents because of whatever reason. They had come out, or they had had arguments, or religious differences, or whatever, and there was like 18 of these people and 18 of these people. And then there was a whole pile of people who were dealing with IVF or had had abortions, and then there was this whole pile of people who, you know, couldn't conceive and had miscarriages, and then all of these people were really lonely and couldn't find love, and these people were in abusive marriages, and I was like, oh my God, it's like the Coke and Pepsi of humanity. Just pick your fucking poison, it's all the same suffering. You know, these people were like playing ping pong and really happy about it, and these people were like, ping pong balls are going to be the end of the planet because they're reflecting the light of the sun. It was just all, just piling up like a yin and yang, and then there were two comments that stood out to me. The first comment was the guy who said, Amanda, I love your work. You always know that's bad. I love your work, but I joined your Patreon so I could be happy. If you know me, you know what that is funny. The second comment was the guy who wrote in saying, I'm never afraid of anything anymore, ever. I always just remember what Bill Hicks said. Does anyone know what Bill Hicks said?
No.
Bill Hicks is a very wonderful, famous, and unfortunately dead American comedian who reached his zenith in the 90s, and he had this fantastic monologue at the end of one of his most famous stand-up shows, and he reminded us that life is just a ride. It's a ride. It's like a ride at an amusement park. It goes up and down and round, and it's very brightly colored. It's a lot like this tent. It's just full of amusement, but we know that some people have been on the ride a really long time, and they come back and they try to remind us, don't be afraid of anything, ever. It's just a ride. And humanity kills those people. It's a lot funnier when Bill Hicks says it because he's a comedian and I'm a musician. And I thought, can I steal that? And I stole it. And this is the song that came from it. And I have to say, I've played in the Spiegel tent or some version of it, but this particular Spiegel tent in this particular place in Edinburgh probably 20 times. I love this venue with all of my heart. And I have to say, it is the ideal venue. So anytime I write a song, and I've written hundreds of songs, I imagine playing it on this piano, on this stage, to you, no matter where I am. This is sort of like the platonic ideal of a song delivery. Especially for a song like this. Everyone's too scared to open their eyes up, but everyone's too scared to close them. Everyone's frightened, they don't know what's coming, but everyone's frightened of knowing. Everyone's reading the rules of engagement, and everyone's starting to doubt them. Everyone's reaching to put on a seatbelt, but this kind of ride comes without them. I want you to think of me sitting and singing beside you. I wish we could meet all the people behind us in line. The climb to the crest is less frightening with someone to clutch you. But isn't it nice when we're all afraid at the same time? And it's just a ride. It's just a ride. And you've got the choice to get off any time that you like. Everyone's terrified that they'll be justified by the collapse that will happen. Everyone's placing their bets just in case the whole thing's a profound disappointment. Everyone's trying to stay on the side where the water's just boiling more slowly. Frogs in a pot, well, that's one thing I've got. At least some of the frogs in here know me. I want you to think of me sitting and singing beside you. The chain pulls us up, and we know that we're all gonna die. The blur and the noise of the screaming can blind and distract you. But isn't it nice when we all can scream at the same time? And it's just a ride. It's just a ride. And you've got the choice to get off anytime that you like. There's like a giant erection coming up through the It's just a ride. It's just a ride. The alternative's nothingness. Might as well give it a try. And as we all go down, and as we all go round, and as we pitch from side to side, everything is gonna be just fine. Everyone's getting real scared to come out, because coming out's going down badly. Feel the city breaking and everybody's shaking, and I just want someone to hold me. Some are too scared to let go of their children, and some are too scared now to have them. Suicide, homicide, genocide, man, that's a fuck ton of sides you can choose from. I want you to think of me sitting and singing beside you. I wish we could meet all the people who get left behind. The ride is so loud it can make you think no one is listening. But isn't it nice and we all can cry at the same time. And it's just a ride. It's just a ride. And you've got the choice to get off anytime that you like. It's just a ride. It's just a ride. The alternative's nothingness. Might as well give it a try. And as we all go down, and as we all go round, and as we pitch from side to side, everything is gonna be just fine. Everyone you love is gonna die. Hopefully this song can come remind you that it's just a ride. It's just a ride. From the sister you miss to the father you don't want to write. It's just a ride. It's just a ride. From the lover you left to the one that you're frightened to find. It's just a ride. It's just a ride. From the baby you lost to the one that you're growing inside. Come on out, darling, and don't you cry.